The first step to making Kraut Ransin is making the inside. And we're going to make hamburger. Well, we're cooking hamburger. See that flour right there? That's because I had my son make the dough. And it's standard issue bread dough. He made a mess today. Don't do that. But we had my son do it, so this is what happens. He gets flour on the teapot. Always makes a mess. This is what happens when boys make bread. So we just let him. We still love him. It's okay. Woo! About flip that out of the pot. We're going to let this cook down. And we're going to pause. Okay. Now that it's all, now that it's all browned off, we're going to come over here, and this is what we're going to add to it. This is a Walla Walla sweet onion. This is minced garlic. This is not fresh minced garlic. This is from a jar of minced garlic. You can use fresh garlic if you want, but I used minced garlic, okay? This is 1/4 of a cabbage. You can use half cabbage or whatever, but this is cabbage. The whole point of Kraut Ransin, the kraut part, is cabbage. That's what kraut means, is cabbage, okay? This right here is about a teaspoon of pepper, and this is about a teaspoon of salt, okay? You can salt and pepper to taste, but that's what I use, okay? And this is what we're going to add to it. This is all the seasoning that you need, because this is German food, and Germans didn't really put a lot of seasoning into it, okay? Now, we're going to keep this oil in here because this oil is going to be absorbed by all these vegetables. So we're going to dump this in. We still got the flour right here because I haven't cleaned it up yet. Sucks to suck. Again, this is the filling of Kraut Ransin. This is how it goes. When all the vegetables are cooked down and browned, and the meat is all brown and everything. Do you see how the oil got all sucked up by the vegetables? See how it's not really there anymore? Because it all got sucked in by all the vegetables. If we didn't have that meat in there, it would all stuck to the bottom of the pan. If we didn't have all the juices from the meat, it would have, all of that would have just stuck. So we needed to keep all the juices from the meat still in there. Fats flavor, people. Fats flavor. That's why all my German ancestors were chunky. Again, this is hamburger, onions, cabbage, garlic, salt, and pepper. That's all you need for this. My grandma taught me this recipe. Can't believe my son. That's what I get. I called him earlier today to make the bread for me so it could rise a couple of times before we made this, because it takes a couple hours for the bread, you know, for the bread dough. And I was like, I'm going to be making this tonight, so get it done. So he made the bread for me, and he left me a mess in the kitchen. That's okay, because I love him. And my son makes good bread. So. And for the bread recipe, you just want to do a standard white bread dough recipe. Nothing fancy, just standard white bread dough, okay? That's all you need, standard white bread dough. Look it up. I'm not going to get technical with you. Whatever your favorite standard white dough recipe is, you know. Okay, we'll be back when this cooks down. Okay, so you take the bread dough and you roll it out flat.
Or
like so.
Or if
peanut gallery.
If you do not have a rolling pin, you could just flatten it out by hand, because we're not rich here, Mom.
Yeah, but I have like 4 rolling pins.
I know, but not everyone has a rolling pin, and so
yeah.
if you do it by yourself, this is what it will look like.
Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, so anyway, you take that, and then we're going to take some of this. See how it's all cooked down nice and yummy, okay? And you can wait till it's cooled off, but you don't have to wait till it's cooled off. We're going to take a scoop of this, and we're going to put it into here, and we're going to make a dumpling out of it. So I'm going to do that off camera and then show you what it looks like afterwards, okay? So you're going to put about that much in there, okay? And then, Junior, do you want to hold the camera while I... Ooh. Okay, so put that much on there, and then we're going to work this around like this, and it's kind of like a, I guess like a little German version of a dumpling, kind of, right? And we're just going to get it closed around like this, and then when you cook it, you're going to cook it upside down, and we're going to put it in here like that, okay? And that's how you do it. We're going to fill this pan up, and then when we come back on camera, this pan will be full, okay? Okay, so here's 6 of them in this 9 by 13, I guess, pan. I left this one. This happened. This was a little thin, and I left it so you can see what happens. What's going to happen with this one when it rises is this will leak out. But you know what? This happens, and I wanted to show you what will happen, because this will happen in your kitchen too. So the dough was a little thin when we rolled it out, and it broke open. And so nobody's perfect. This one's not perfect. So
Po Buddy's nerfect.
Yep. So anyway, so we got these. We're going to stick this in the oven, 350 degrees. We're going to start with 15 minutes and check it, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All right, and so there's our last 3. We would have had 4, but I was a dumbass and didn't use enough flour, and it stuck to my roller, and then it fell on the floor. So we would have had a perfect 6 in one and 4 in the other, but so for a total of 10 Kraut Ransin for this batch. But like I said, I dropped one of the doughs on the floor because, like I said, nobody's perfect.
The dough was 4 cups of flour, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of oil. What was it? A quarter cup of sugar, a tablespoon of yeast, and 2 cups of warm water.
There you go. There's the recipe. And here's our other poor teapot that got messy in the bread making. And our poor dishwasher has shredded the paint on it. It used to be teal. And there's our flour covered teapot, because that's what happened. This is all that's left of the filling. So it used almost all the filling that we had. And it was originally a pound and a half of hamburger is what it started off with, and a quarter of a small head of cabbage, 1 Walla Walla sweet onion, and 2 tablespoons of garlic, and about a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper. And that's all you use in the filling. No other seasoning is needed. Trust me, you don't need it. And it is just the plain Jane hamburger. No need to do a low-fat hamburger, because you need that fat to brown off the vegetables, okay? Look at, there's hardly any fat left in this. You don't need to drain it off, okay?
She's lying. A pinch of celery salt would bring it all together.
You don't need a pinch of celery salt. He thinks he needs celery salt in everything. So, okay, so I am going to put the other pan in the oven, and we'll start cooking it off. All right, so this took 25 minutes. And the reason why they're kind of light is because they had flour on them. So I want you to listen to them if you can. See how they're, you want them to sound hollow. okay? Now, remember this one had that hole in it, okay? Now, all the insides are already cooked because we cooked them in the pot before, right? So you don't have to worry about them being raw in the middle, okay? So, they're all good. They're all cooked inside. They're yummy. They're toasty. This is basically a German Hot Pocket, all right? So you're good to go. Let me take one out and we'll cut it open. You can see what they're good. Ooey gooey yumminess. I'm going to see if I can do this with one hand, but I am just terrible at that. But anyway, whew, it is hot. But yeah, so as you can see, it's all nice and cooked inside. It is freaking hot. You're going to get a nice steamy hole in the middle. My kids like to eat theirs with ketchup. I like to eat mine with, ow, ooh, that's hot. Change hands here. I like to eat mine with some Thousand Island. The flavor profile is going to be a lot like a Big Mac, kind of, if you can believe that. If you eat it with Thousand Island, it's going to taste a lot like a Big Mac, even though it's got cabbage in it. Okay. Those in Grant County, where I live, Grant County, Washington, this is going to be reminiscent of the. I love cooked cabbage. German ancestry, I swear. Anyway, the flavor profile is going to be a lot like the space burgers. If you've ever had a space burger at the Grant County Fair, that's what it's going to taste like. If you've ever been to Deutsches Fest in Odessa, Washington, you can get these. They serve them there too, but these are our version of them, handed down from my grandma. So anyway, Kraut Ransin, grandma's recipe. So there you go. Hope you enjoy it. Today we're making Kraut Ransin.